Presidents of China and the United States have just signed a code of conduct in the maritime issues so as to deal with the potential crisis management control. How significant of this code of conduct in terms of the maritime security?
I think that the agreement on the maritime code of conduct and also on the advanced notification of military activities, I think, are two very important steps that our Department of Defense and the Ministry of Defense in China have taken. The key will be continuing to follow up on those. I think it's also important that even though these have been agreed to primarily for our navies, because much of the maritime activity that takes place in the Western Pacific, the East China Sea, South China Sea, includes other navies, but more importantly it includes coast guards and other maritime forces. I think it will be important in the future that these types of agreements include those activities as well.
And in terms of the maritime security, how significant is U.S.-China cooperation in this field?
I believe that U.S. and China cooperating on maritime security very broadly, not just in this region, is very important. I think that the counter-piracy work that we have done together in the Somali Basin off the east coast of Africa indicates that when our navies operate and work together, we can be a very powerful force.
How do you see the biggest challenges regarding the U.S.-China in the maritime issues?
Well, I think some of the challenges that we're going to deal with are the types of activities that are taking place in the South China Sea and East China Sea. As you know, some of the countries that are involved are our allies. And our relationships with our allies are extremely important, and that is going to be a bit of a challenge. I would also say that, especially in the South China Sea, the issue of the 9-dash line is very confusing to many people. And I think until that is clarified by China, there may be some misunderstandings.
Okay, how can the U.S. reassure China of this rebalance, not to avoiding the conflicts, but as well as creating some of the constructive progress?
I think the steps that have been taken in the aftermath of the meeting between the two presidents is a good thing to do. I also believe that more activities between our militaries is also very important. But the other aspect is clarifying some of the maritime claims and how there can be a better understanding on what it is that when China talks about the 9-dash line.
And can you mention a few fields that both sides can cooperate in the maritime issues?
I believe that we've already demonstrated that we're very good in counter-piracy. Humanitarian assistance, disaster response is something that's going to be needed in this region because of the many disasters that visit the region. I also believe that we can look broadly at environmental and fisheries issues that are important. Those aren't between navies, but those are the types of things that will contribute to the prosperity and peace of the region.
Very briefly, in the end, is there any particular message you want to send to China through this forum?
I believe the message is that China, as a significant military force in this region, should look for more cooperative ways to work with the other militaries in the region, not just with the United States, but also with the other countries that have strong interests in the maritime environment.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.